Hello, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be mainly focusing on the tropics. To start off, let's look at what's currently going on and what has happened since my last video. I decided to take a short break, but now we are back to discuss important information regarding tropical systems. Alright, now, since we left off, 15W formed into Merbok, which is now impacting Alaska. And we'll talk more about that later and how it affects other places around the world, mainly North America. Then 16W formed into Nanmadol, which rapidly intensified into a super typhoon. It is now a Category 5. Moefa peaked as a Category 3 and is impacted China and is now in Russia and near North Korea. Alright, now we also had 7L form into Fiona, which is a tropical storm. Could become a hurricane, likely to become a hurricane to the north of the Caribbean islands. And then we also had 13E, which became Lester. Invest 94E has a 90% chance of forming to the south of Baja California. Lester seems to be the shorter-lived system, as the National Hurricane Center cone is small for Lester, and does not go beyond more than 3 days-ish. We'll look at that later. And then Invest 94E could be a little bit longer lived. It is likely to form. I have not marked any other systems in the North Atlantic, however, we will be looking at that, as the National Hurricane Center has marked 10% and 20%, 2 waves in the North Atlantic. Taking a look at the Joint Typhoon Warning Center, we have the remnants of Moefa and Super Typhoon Nanmadol. Currently, this is the satellite imagery, and Nanmadol is a relatively large system, definitely not a small system, and not weak at all. Not as much rain will be produced by this system as Hinamnor, however, it is still a major threat to Japan as it moves closer. Looking at its cone, we'll see it will move closer to southwestern Japan as still a strong typhoon, potentially a major, before impacting pretty much the entirety of Japan as well as South Korea, and before moving out to sea. So we'll have to see what intensity it will be when it makes landfall, but either way, whatever intensity it will be a devastating impact. It will make devastating impacts to Japan, adding further damage to after Hinamnor moved through. Now, moving on to the NHC, let's look at the past outlooks for the NHC with the Eastern Pacific. We see Lester formed and is moving towards Mexico. Now, looking at the Atlantic, we see 7L. Fiona has been alive for a little bit now. Fiona formed, though, and it has been moving closer to the Caribbean islands, like how normal systems move, and we've had these 2 waves recently marked, a 20% chance for disturbance 2 and a 10-10 for the next 2 days and the next 5 days for disturbance 1, moving to the southeast, and this disturbance 2 will move north. Alright, in the Central Pacific we have nothing, which is pretty much expected. Now, looking at the CPC, or the Climate Prediction Center, we see anywhere in red as a tropics formation probability chance. And we could see 3 areas of interest in the Atlantic for the CPC, in the Eastern Pacific activity and Western Pacific activity. So the CPC is also banking on some of this happening. Now, Fairbanks, Alaska, which is pretty the forecast office for National Weather Service. We see for Alaska we have a lot of storm and hurricane force winds possible as former Typhoon Merbok moves through. And just I'll say it now, as this large system moved north, the jet stream moved a little bit, so depending on where the ridges and troughs take place in the coming days, it will help steer Fiona, so it will either move to the Gulf of Mexico, out to sea, or up the East Coast, impacting the East Coast. So we'll have to see with that The models are currently depicting it moving out to sea as a fish storm, Fiona. However, I believe they have not really been picking up on what is happening with X-Merbach, now just a system moving through Alaska, and what's going on with the jet stream. Now, going to the Storm Prediction Center, quickly let's just go over severe weather. We have a watch, a musical discussion, and some hail reports from today, and wind reports. Fire, no areas, thankfully, and not a lot going on. However, some, I believe, frost advisories. Yes, frost advisories as cooler conditions start to unfold in the interior northeast. We have a slight risk for Saturday as well, with tornadoes, wind, and hail possible. And then, as well as that, on Sunday we have a slight risk, so we'll be having to watch for any upgrades with this. Any severe as of now, but still watching that. But no fire risk as of now. Alright. Now, taking a look at tropical tidbits. 94E is not too organized yet. Tropical Storm Lester is moving towards Mexico. Tropical Storm Fiona moving to the northern Lesser Antilles and closer towards Puerto Rico. It will likely move around to the south of Puerto Rico. We'll see what will happen. And then Super Typhoon, the Super Typhoon Nanmadol, is still a Category 5. Now, looking at the GFS model, we see Fiona moving through and becoming very strong, but moving out to sea. Then we see the snowstorm for Quebec, and it just shows how fall is coming, and meteorological fall has already started, and astronomical fall is coming soon, in just a few days. We're really starting to begin a fall pattern, but we'll be watching for Fiona, what will happen with that. Future snow, we'll be watching for that in the interior northeast and in the northern Rockies and throughout southern Canada. We've already seen signals that the snow season is about to start. Alright, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.